going on, everyone? It's episode 183, recorded on Sunday, September 24th, 2023. I'm John, and hey, Drew and Brian? A cop sees a drunk stumbling down the street. He says, "Hey, buddy, you look a little drunk. What's your name?" And the guy says, "Brian. Man, I sure am glad to see you, officer. See, somebody just stole my car." The cop says, "Well, Brian, where was the car when you last saw it?" And he replies, "Right on the end of this key." The cop looks at the key and looks at the drunk and says, "Well, go 2 blocks down to the station and report it to the desk sergeant." "Thanks, officer. You've been a big help." As he starts stumbling towards the station, the cop looks down at the guy's pants and says, "Hey, buddy, before you go, you better zip up your fly." Brian looks down at his pants and says, "Aw, man, they got my girl, too."
Oh, God.
Drew loves nature and thinks John's a cheater. That's right, it's time for another episode of the Dads After Dark show. Take it away, boys.
What is up, everyone? On tonight's episode, Halloween Mayhem is announced. Immunity? Punity. Why should you care what that means for us? And lastly, Mortal Kombat! Brian, Rizzle buddy, welcome to the show. You are the winner. Some may look at it as a loser, but regardless, you won to be on the show today through our wonderful... you donated some money for our Extra Life campaign, and you're the lucky winner, Brian. So welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. Glad to be here. You guys put on a great event, and I guess I'm the lucky winner.
Yes. So, Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself. Rizzle, you've been around now for some time, right, in our Discord community. You've been playing some games with us. You've been hanging out every day, chatting. So maybe tell a little bit about us. How'd you find us? How'd you find the community? A little bit about yourself.
Well, I found you guys, obviously, through the dads. I mean, it seems like it's been, from the beginning, probably when you guys started, and love the show. I've just been a listener and a member of the Discord ever since, and playing some games with you guys and chatting with everybody. Love it. So about myself, I'm from upstate New York.
Nice.
Go.
Bills fan. Go Bills. Bills Mafia. Big win today. Like Drew, I'm a Switch-only gamer. That's all I got. Also like Drew, I golf whenever I can.
Love it.
And I have 2 daughters, 6 and 7, so they're just dabbling into some games now, which is great. It's good to be able to play with them, when I can. And in the wintertime, I play men's league, beer league hockey. So
I mean, John, you better watch
trying
out.
to stay strong with that. Slowing up, but
What is your opinion?
There.
What is your opinion of refs in hockey?
Well,
They're pieces of shit, aren't they?
they're not everyone's biggest fan, I used to be a ref a long time ago.
Nice.
And only so much coaches, fans, parents yelling at you, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough
That
one,
sucks. I hate that aspect of it. It's ridiculous.
It's actually the higher you go up in skill level, the easier it gets, because you don't really have the crazy parents. I mean, don't get me wrong. Now you have coaches that do this for a living, right? So now they get pissed because they might legit lose their job over you if you make a bad call or they lose the games, right? So it's a different level of shittiness, but you don't have the parents sitting in the stands like doing like the gun thing, like "I'm gonna get you in the fucking parking lot, kid."
Oh my God!
Like, been there, done that. Like I don't need that. I don't need that.
Right, like your 5-year-old is about to be the number 1 pick in the NHL draft, and how dare you?
And the nice thing about college too, a lot of the players on the ice are there full rides, right? They're there for it's like they're getting paid to play essentially, so they're not gonna mess something up over something stupid. Where a high school kid, they don't care. They'll swing a stick at you, like it's so.
You don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know. You got to watch your back. John, what's new with you, buddy? How you been?
I've been good. I made some ribs tonight. It's the second time I've been doing oven baked ribs.
Oven baked ribs, huh?
Yeah, I don't have a smoker, and I need a new barbecue, but now is not the time with winter coming and oh my god, so many expenses. But so I've been learning how to do in the ribs because I told you I was like a couple months ago. My mother-in-law made ribs in the oven, and they were so tough and
I don't
so
think you
gross.
told me this.
Yeah, I mean, she just did it, and they were so gross and tough and everything. And I was like, I want to try to make better ribs than this in the oven, just to see if you can, because
Sure.
it's ribs in an oven. Like I don't think to make those in the oven.
No.
And 3.5 hours on low temperature,
Nice.
and they come out beautiful. I don't have to like go get a smoker just for it. And today was the second time I did it. I also did wings this past week, and they came out really good too.
Nice.
So oven baked barbecue. I'm going to do a whole podcast on it.
Wow. I did the classic beef stew yesterday. And this fall day, just sit at home all day with the rain.
There's nothing better than slow cooking.
Yeah, that sounds
Listen,
good.
I went to the store. I bought all my beef stew ingredients. I get home. I'm unpacking everything. What's the one thing I forgot?
Beef.
Fucking beef. Got everything else. I got the seasoning, the potatoes, the veggies, everything.
Vegetarian beef stew. You just invented it.
No, luckily I have a market that's like half a mile from my house that I went to and grabbed the beef. I was like, I didn't see it out, and then I got nervous. This is a small market. It's actually brand new, just opened up a few months ago. And they have like this really nice butcher. And I said, do you guys have any stew beef? And he's like, hold on. And he fucking goes in the back and brings out like half a cow. And he's just fucking like sawing it. He's like, I'll get you some fresh stuff. I was like, great. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
This past week, I think it was Wednesday, we get a call from the school, and Melody was on a field trip, not far away, but she was on a field trip, and she passed out.
No.
And it was like, is she okay? Like, oh, she fainted or whatever, and she's up or whatever. I was like, okay. I wonder
But
what's
why?
dehydrated or whatever. Then like we got another call back, and she was like pale and whatever, but the color wasn't coming back. So they called an ambulance, and I'm just like, oh fuck no. And then I mean, I'm as concerned about Melody, but oh fuck, it's gonna cost me so much money. And then she got taken to the hospital, and I was nervous and freaked out. But in the end, it was
pissed about the ambulance.
I know.
Really.
In the end, I think she was just dehydrated, and she didn't bring her water, and she didn't have breakfast that morning, and whatever. And it's like, oh, I still haven't paid my ER bill from when I lost my vision, so it's like, oh my gosh, thousands of dollars. But she's okay, so that's
Thousands.
good.
I mean, don't you have like health insurance?
Yeah, I have health insurance. Welcome to America. Doesn't matter.
Just would have been tens of thousands.
I know. Yeah.
Jesus.
So an MRI costs a lot of money.
Oh, MRIs are ridiculous. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I won't even get them unless I feel like I'm dying.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So so that's been a fun week. But
Mm.
but we're here with Rizzle29, aka Brian, and Drew. We got a little something for him.
We do. We starting off the show with this?
Hells yeah, we're starting
Awesome.
off the
Well,
show with
Brian,
this.
as you know, tradition on this show when we have guests, there's only one thing that we need to start the show off, and that is the gauntlet.
Oh boy.
The gauntlet.
The gauntlet. Am I rapid fire in this, or are you?
Go for it.
Okay, number one. Fuck, Mary, kill, Brian. Jim Kelly, Josh Allen's O.J. Simpson.
Oh Jesus. Well, I guess let's kill OJ.
Okay, that was a test. If you didn't go with that, we were probably going to end the show immediately.
Let's fuck Josh and we'll marry Jim.
Okay.
All right. I was going to throw Flutie on there, but I wasn't sure.
Flutie. Duddy boy.
But I had to throw OJ.
Number two. Was having two daughters at the age 2 and 3 better or worse than 6 and 7?
Wow. I'd say better. It seems like getting more difficult as we go.
I agree. I thought it was. I'm with you. I thought things would get easier. They're not quite easier yet. John keeps telling me just wait, but it's not. Mine are 7 and 9.
More demands.
That's right.
That's true.
Number 3. What is the first video game you ever remember playing?
Oh, it's easy. It's Mario.
Yeah.
The initial
It's
on the
just-
NES.
It's just that's the only answer.
Those are that or Duck Hunt. The combined
Yes.
cartridge.
Number 4. What's the worst video game that your kids love?
What's the worst game that they love? I don't know. You know what? Let's see. They play mainly the big titles, the Kirbys, the Marios. I don't have an answer for that one.
Wow. The easy answer is
I haven't come across anything terrible.
The easy answer is anything on the iPad.
Oh, yeah.
Number
I don't
5.
even know what they're playing on there.
Exactly. What's the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you?
I don't know, publicly or, well, I'll say recently I had a long night out at the pub, and apparently I walked into my oldest daughter's room and pissed in her bedroom.
No, that's incredible.
She woke up and tell some of her buddies at school.
Wow, that's just like the drunken dad story.
Sleepwalking. That's what Daddy was just sleepwalking.
Yeah, I knew exactly.
I am shocked. That is not the most embarrassing moment in your life. You're like, that's the most embarrassing moment in the last couple weeks.
Well, that's about a year and a half ago. That's the Rizzle. That's not Brian. That was the Rizzle.
I got another contender. 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Oh, God.
Ooh, no.
I lived through that one, too.
I would take a Super Bowl loss today more than anything, guys. I would love to lose a Super Bowl.
Time out here. We got to go back to this story for a minute. Does she still bring this up?
Occasionally. Oh, yeah. You can't, this, not that it didn't have, you just, don't say this to anybody.
Yeah, keep it on the down low.
Ever.
Family thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Hopefully that's something she'll grow out of and forget about.
Yeah.
Never. No.
Every 3 months, somehow she brings it up.
For my sake, I hope she never forgets it.
It's never happening.
Remember this as number 6 is when the gauntlet starts to turn. Number 6, if you could have sex with any celebrity in the world, who would it be?
This
Josh
sounds crazy. We always Salma Hayek.
Wow.
I'm going.
Salma Hayek.
Wait, what did you say?
We had this discussion. Salma Hayek.
Your girl.
Right.
We're doing it.
I love that you committed to that on this one question.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
But it's a damn good answer.
I'm doubling down.
Yeah.
Doubling down. Will you double down on this next one here? Number 7. Would you let your wife make a porn for $1 million?
That's an easy yes for me. Easy yes.
Follow up. Do you whack off to it later on?
Easy yes.
Easy.
I'm going no.
That's smart. See,
not for $1 million.
The problem with this is now your friends are seeing it. They're looking at you weird.
Yeah.
It's out there forever.
Yeah.
They're looking at you maybe with envy too. I mean, it just all depends.
That's true.
You'd be like, did you watch it? Did you watch the 17-minute mark? Yeah.
Number 8. What's your favorite Halloween franchise?
Halloween franchise, huh?
Wait, what are we talking about? It like a horror movie or
like movies, like a movie franchise?
Okay. That's scary.
That's
I guess it could be a TV-ish type show. I consider Stranger Things not really Halloween, but kind of
Yeah,
spooky.
you know what? Actually, that's what I was going to say. Stranger Things is kind of my, kind of that vibe.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I was
vibe.
actually going to bring that up.
If you go classic, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, which one are you doing?
Friday 13th. That's what I would go.
Go Halloween there. All right, last one for you here. Would you rather tell your kids 5 minutes before they could not go trick-or-treating or shit your pants in a work meeting?
I'd shit my pants in a work meeting.
You do it for the kids.
I do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids. And now your daughter thinks not only do you piss in her room, but you also shit at work.
Yeah.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a monkey paw situation right there.
Well, Brian, you survived the gauntlet. Well done. And with that being said, let's head over for a little bit of an ad break there, John. Because football season is back, and you know what that means. Touchdown dances, Sunday tailgates. I gotta scroll.
Touchdown dances. What are those?
Fantasy showdowns. That's the gritty. But fellas, let's not forget the real MVP of this season, introducing the all-new Beard Hedger Pro Kit by Manscaped, your ultimate luxury beard grooming experience. This kit is your secret weapon for staying sharp on and off the field. Don't fumble this opportunity. Head over to manscaped.com and elevate your grooming game with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Join the 9 million men and maybe women worldwide who trust Manscaped. You're the right 9 million men and maybe women, or 109 MetLife stadiums. That's the first time I'm reading that, and I guess I understand it, but let's go with it. So go to manscaped.com to 20% off and free shipping with the codes NINDADS, NINDADS. Brian, are you a manscaper?
Oh, yeah. Big manscaper.
Got to do it. New products will be launching in 2 days. Actually, when you hear this, September 26th. TBD. Maybe next week we'll have more to say about it. John, let's head over to the meat.
Let's head over to the meat, and we start off with our Substack, dadsafterdarkshow.substack.com. I'm about to post something new. Keep an eye out for it. You can find all of our merch and social media there. I've got 3 first looks on the Nintendo Dads channel. I've been busy. One of the games I actually did a few weeks ago. I'll let you figure out which one that is. But the 3 are Trombone Champ, Days of Doom, and Gloomhaven. And I'll give you a clue. One of these games I played after my first look. One of these games I plan on playing at some point after my first look. And one of these games I'm not going to play after doing a first look.
Can I make some guesses?
Yeah, go for it. What do you think?
Gloomhaven has got to be a game you liked and you're going to continue playing. Trombone Champ. By the way, I watched your. I'll be honest. I'm not a big watcher of video games. I find myself, if I want to watch video games, I'll just play video games. With that being said, I had to watch your fucking Trombone Champ.
I had fun doing that one.
You had fun. I will say, I also enjoyed the angle. You kind of did like a little silent. Like, a little produce in there.
Yeah. I wanted to get the because it's a motion control game.
Sure,
so,
I like it.
If I did that without showing my hands, I mean, that would be ridiculous. Did you see the part where the guy, the roofer guy, came over? Because it was very awkward.
Be honest, fast forwarded a little bit. Might not have watched the whole 25 minutes, but I did.
I was recording. It was like 8:30 in the morning, and I was waiting. I knew my roofer was coming that day, but later in the day. And I look out my window. There's somebody walking in my backyard while I'm filming, and I'm like, "What?" And so I had to pause it, and then I came back, but I had to close my blinds because I didn't want to be doing a Trombone Champ video while they're basically in my window.
You should have invited them in for a little co-op.
Where you want to play some Trombone Champ? They're like, buddy.
I'm sorry, that game looks terrible, but please go on.
It's fun. We played it 4-player with the family yesterday, and it's a goofy fun. But yeah, no, it was good. And then we've got September review contest going on. We got a whole bunch of reviews in. We're starting to get a lot of Bob Barkley's now. So that's very nice to see. We're going to pick 2 random people who leave a review for a 5-star review.
5-star
is required.
That. Somebody, no names.
2 $20 eShop cards. And if you include the words Bob Barkley in your review, we will up your prize to $35. Put you on the spot. Brian, have you reviewed us? God damn it.
I must not be coming in clear.
Listen,
why don't you review us while Drew is telling us what he's playing?
This is free
There's
money.
Always more. Always more.
Money. Easy peasy. Go do it. It's just easy. It's just easy to do. Do it twice. Do it 3 times. Grab your kid's iPad. Put it onto their account. We don't give a shit. The more the merrier.
We've got 12 reviews so far, so pretty good. Yeah. Looks like there's another week left in the month. If you're listening to this and you've been thinking you're going to do it, because who doesn't want a $35 eShop card? That would be amazing.
It buys you a lot nowadays.
This is your last chance, man. This is the last time you're going to hear us before it's over. So do it now. Do it while you're listening to the podcast. Do it right now. Get it done. But we have another announcement, another mayhem. Drew, tell us about this one.
Your favorite monthly mayhem ever is back for the 3rd annual year, and that is the Halloween Mayhem. That's right. Halloween Mayhem is officially back. If you've never partook in the Halloween Mayhem, John, this is one of our favorites. We love the spooky season. We love to see the creativity. Last year, we were getting pumpkins with our logo on it, kids dressed up, koozie fucking a skeleton cat in the middle of Target. I mean,
That's right.
unbelievable stuff we got last year. It was incredible. So if you never did it, this is what's going to happen. We're going to start October 1st, and we run through, this is a long one, we run through November 4th. And the reason we do that is we understand that Halloween night, a lot of crazy stuff can happen, and you get dressed up. So we want to give you that night, and then a few days after, they'll post it. It's pretty simple. You take pictures, and you do all these sorts of things, and you submit it to us through Discord. There's lots of different ways to do this, right? Submit a Halloween themed photo. You can make it a video. It could be you played a spooky game and you wanted to do a video game review. We've seen do a little spooky dance, make up a spooky dance. It could be house decorations. You could carve the pumpkins. I want you to create a Dad After Dark Halloween rap. Because I'll tell you right now, if you rap a new song about us, that probably is a good chance of winning, right, John? Make a scary video, draw a picture. I don't care what you do. But here's what's going to happen. It's going to be judged by John and I live on a podcast. And there's 3 categories that we look for: spookiness, creativity, and Nintendo. The more of those 3 categories you encompass into your submission, the better chance you have of winning. This year, we're going to give a first place prize, $15, a second place winner, $10, and we're going to do a random lottery of $10. So we're going to have 3 prizes this year. Submit. You can submit multiple submissions if you want. That's okay. Submit them in the Discord. I think we create usually a Halloween Mayhem channel, John, when that will be coming up soon.
Just created it.
Perfect. Done. October 1st. Start now. Submit everything. Rizzle, I hope to see you this one. You think you can pull something off here?
I think I might be able to. I'm actually sipping on a pumpkin ale right now, so I'm in the season.
You're in the season. I love it.
Nice.
Really quick, other thing I want to mention was, if you saw the new Lego coming out, the new Nintendo Lego, the Piranha Plant Lego. I like this one too. It's not a massive one. It's only $60, kind of more on that lower budget. It looks clean. It looks slick. I'm all over it.
So this just hit stores. It wasn't like a pre-order thing, right?
It's not out yet. November.
Okay. So it is
November 6th, around there. Yep.
So did it just get announced, or can you order it?
Just got announced.
Okay. All right.
I'll look while you continue talking. If it's
Piranha Plant Lego. Yeah, I believe Justin Masson did a video for this on the Nintendo Dad's channel.
I don't believe it's pre-orderable.
I am so grateful that I have not decided to collect Nintendo Lego. I still can't believe I never bought that NES one.
That's a shame that you don't have that.
And I didn't buy any of the other ones. I think once I didn't get the NES one, I can't buy the other ones because, I mean, if I'm not going to get the NES one.
I have the NES.
I'm so glad because these are coming out like crazy. And I have like the little like Nintendo. I have like Mario, Luigi, and
those
Peach
are fun
on my desk. I love the Peach one, but like that's it. I just keep them on my desk. I don't even have the Lego sets that they came with. They're all just downstairs.
Those ones, those are tough. I have some. I mean, my son plays with them, but those ones are tough because they don't display well in my eyes. They're more like interactive play. The Piranha Plant, the N6, the NES, the Bowser, and the Question Block are all pretty good ones you can put on the shelf. I think.
Yeah,
I have
especially
those.
Piranha Plant because it's small. It's like you can put it on your desk.
Absolutely. So
cool.
Looking forward to it.
Amazing. We got Bluey the video game was announced. I love Bluey. I know you've gone through all the Bluey. When we were on our road trip, we would watch Bluey. Every time we got to a hotel, like at night, we would watch Bluey because it's the only thing that we all could like and watch. And it's just so good. Like the writing is incredible on it. And
Brian, is Bluey a big hit in your house?
I was just asking the girls that. They know Bluey. I haven't seen them watching it much, but but this game, I think they would. Now, is this 4 players too?
4-player.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely on the list, the wish list.
Yeah. Wow.
These kind of games are not always the most fun to play. Especially, I don't know, like Drew will play these games with the kids, but we don't. But yeah, 4-player, and it's kind of go through. It looks just like the show, like the way the Peppa the Pig game looks. It just looks exactly like the show.
It does look good. I agree with that.
So that's coming out November 17th. Not the best day, I think, to come out.
That would be good though, because
Mario RPG and Persona 5 Tactica come out that day, and Bluey.
Well, I mean, my kids aren't playing either one of those games, so
yeah. There's also an announcement. This is the weirdest one. Critter
Agreed.
crossover. This is a Animal Crossing crossed with Seattle Aquarium that was announced by Nintendo recently. And there's not pictures or anything for this one, but there is going to be some promotional stuff going on at Seattle Aquarium beginning October 7th. They're going to have photo opportunities where you can take pictures on Animal Crossing themed sets. I think that's something we've seen at like Nintendo Live, and then that summer fest thing that we went to, Drew, remember we got pictures there.
Yep.
You're just shipping that off. Themed creature descriptions presented by Blathers. And so I imagine this is, various fish that are in the game and then Blathers talking about them. I don't know what that's going to look like.
Seems
Standees of familiar characters from the game. And then they're going to have a little scavenger hunt based on a phone app or something like that. So if you're in the Seattle area, go check that out. Send some pictures. I want to see. Looks like it could be fun. But keep in mind, you're going to an aquarium. It's just going to be an aquarium. I think it's going to be a light layer of Animal Crossing on top of going. If you don't like aquariums, don't go. And then we also this week we got a PlayStation State of Play. I am sitting here with two guys who only have a Switch. I will try not to judge their life decisions. But this was a pretty good State of Play. Did any of you guys watch this? Do you watch other presentations, or are you just not going to watch? I love presentations, man. Ugh.
Nope.
I think
I don't watch them, but I listen to recaps and stuff, and it seemed, from what I heard, was decent, but a lot of the things were already known and didn't really bump up the hype level too much more. If you kind of wanted it, you were getting it anyhow. But that was about it.
On the PlayStation side of the wall, their State of Plays are never usually that good. You never have really great expectations of them. Their showcases are better, but the State of Play is usually not great. And it was basically what we expected. But there were some surprises. Baby Steps, which is I don't know if that's an indie game, but it's like a walking simulator type game. Kind of started the show, had really good humor. If you can find the trailer for it from the State of Play, you should watch it because it's actually kind of funny. Roblox is coming to PlayStation. God. Ghostbusters is coming to PSVR 2. That should be interesting. RE4 Remake is getting the paid DLC. In fact, that already came out. If you have a PlayStation, Resident Evil 4 Remake is on sale for $40 right now. I'm probably going to pick that up before the end of the sale, but I haven't done it yet. And I want to get the DLC because I never played the DLC before, ever. And I love RE4. They showed off Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. That's coming out December 7th. Ghost Runner 2 gets a demo. That's coming out October 26th. Then they showed off 3 new color themes for PS5. These are controllers and the colored plates. You can replace the side plates on a PS5. Those white plates, you can replace them. And they have volcanic red, sterling silver, cobalt blue. I like the cobalt blue because that is the PlayStation color, the brand blue. So it kind of feels like more natural. So I might get that. I don't know. Helldivers 2. Tales of Arise is getting a DLC. That is a game that I tried and then kind of dropped off after a couple hours, but I want to try. DLC looks interesting. Foam Stars got a look. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth kind of unveiled more of its open world. They're promising 100 hours of adventure. But of course, the highlight of the show, as always, was Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which at this point I cannot wait for. It's coming out in less than a month. What they unveiled is that the game is doubled in size from the original Spider-Man. You are in Queens and Brooklyn, 2 of my favorite places. And they have a gliding mechanic now. So aside from swinging through the city, you can full scale glide. And man, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they showed off what the fast travel is like. So the PS5 has some built-in features for very fast loading, and it's obviously got an SSD. And their games, their first-party games, have tried to feature that. We saw it with Ratchet and Clank, really feature the fast loading mechanism. Go see the fast travel for Spider-Man 2. Holy bananas. It is so fast. You literally click some area of the city you want to go to, click it, and then after a second, it sort of transitions into that segment on your map and then turns it into a 3D model, and then you're kind of flying through the air. It is a beautiful transition. And if you've ever played a game where you're trying to like do completion stuff and you're fast traveling a lot, it's really nice. I had a TikTok video that compared the PS4 Spider-Man loading and then the PS5 Spider-Man loading and then the Spider-Man 2 on PS5, and it's ridiculous. So super excited for that. I cannot wait. I took that day off for Spider-Man and Mario Wonder.
Yes.
But that's a wrap up of the state of play. And with that, let's talk about what we've been playing. So Brian, every time I say your name, I think Brian like Family Guy in my head. I'm really sorry for this, but I'm going to try to keep that in my head.
But now it's not in your head. You just let it out.
I know. And you're from Rhode Island, Drew. Brian, you are our guest. Why don't you kick us off with what you've been playing?
Sure. Well, usually I'm a type of gamer where I play like one game at a time. And
Yes.
I beat it and then move on to the next one, or sometimes I quit. But I've actually been playing a lot of games recently. And the most recent one is the F-Zero 99. I downloaded that, and I played some of the other 99 games, and I did enjoy them, especially Tetris and Mario. But this one's just got me hooked.
Really?
I love the mechanics. The things you got to rank up, and there's these Grand Prix that instead of doing one race, it's timed. You can't do them all the time. You got to earn these tickets to play in them, but it's 5 races, and you got to get after the first race in the top 80th and 60, 40, 20. And
Okay.
I think my best rank is like 4th. I haven't won any yet. I was pretty close, and I blew up right at the end. But it's gotten me hooked. I've been playing a lot of it.
That's awesome. I have
It
not.
is good.
I haven't even tried this yet, unfortunately, and I've played a shit ton of games. But that's I'm glad to hear that. That sounds pretty fun. I like the concept of unlocking some tickets and entering these other types of races.
It ramps you up really well too. It has a really good intro.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's what you were saying. The tutorial. Is there any sorts of unlockables as far as skins or colors or anything like that?
Yeah, I think currently there's 4 vehicles. I've only really used one, and if you play a certain amount of games, if you do different achievements, you get different colors for the vehicles, different badges, and different stuff. So there's a lot to do, and it looks like there's going to be even more added in the future because there's some tournaments and stuff that are like grayed out right now. So
Okay.
it looks like hopefully they'll continue to support it, and I guess I'll keep playing it.
Very cool. What else have you been playing?
Well, I tapped out on TMNT Shredder's Revenge, the DLC. I love a beat 'em up, and probably one of my favorite all time is the Shredder's Revenge. It's really perfect. The DLC had me. I think I leveled up every guy to the max 10 in the survival mode, and I couldn't stop. I beat it a few times. Once you beat it, you can keep going on loop, and it just gets really hard. I'm like, all right, I'm done. But I put some hours into that one.
That's awesome. I've been playing this as well. I did not beat it. I made it to Shredder a few times. I love the scale of the challenge though. It's like a perfectly matched challenge. Yeah, it is fun. You're right. I put a lot of hours into this as well.
How long does a run take if you were to like beat a run? Like how long would that be?
20 to 30, you think?
Yeah,
Brian?
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, no more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, agreed.
And it scales up, and Shredder's tough.
He's tough.
I think so. In the survival mode, he kicked my ass many times.
Yep, I couldn't beat him. I made it to him a few times. We were playing, me, my wife, and my son. The 3 of us would play together.
Yeah,
I like the new
playing that in a game night with my buddies. Yeah, playing 4 players has got to be really fun with that. I only play solo. Who's
your favorite character playing as?
The 2 new unlockables are really good. Was it the Karai and Usabi Yojimbo? They're good.
I like to use the bunny guy too. Whatever the hell his name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
call him cookie nipples because he has these 2 patches and they look like cookies if you change the colors, and they're right on his nipples.
Perfect.
I'm gonna find.
I've been wanting to try the DLC because I said like Cedric owns the digital copy and I didn't want to buy it again, but they put it on limited run games, and
Oh.
you can buy the physical version of the game and it includes the DLC. So I actually did. I haven't bought from LRG in a while, but I was like, let me buy that. I'll buy the physical, and it feels justified. So I'll have to wait like 4 months for it to come out, but
Yeah, of
I'm looking
course.
forward to it.
Yeah, it's worth it. I think I have the physical, the regular. I kind of wish I waited to get the DLC physical, but
They do this stuff all. We could do a whole show on, is there going to be a digital? My wife was asking about Miniko's Night Market. Is there a physical? And I was like, no, but they'll come out with one in 6 months, sure, and then you'll buy it again. It's just how they do it now.
So the other couple games I'm playing are Sea of Stars. I don't play RPGs, but I heard this one there's no grinding and no random battles, and it's not 80 hours. So I was like, this might be for me, and I really enjoy it. The graphics, the pixel art, the set pieces. It's really gotten me, really liking it, enjoying it. I'm probably a little more than halfway through, and I kind of got at a point where I wasn't really sure what to do, and so I started playing some other games. But I'm definitely going to get back to it. I want to make my way through that game for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I'll give my episode. I've been playing this as well. I'm about 18 to 19 hours in it. I just got to the place. It's not really a spoiler. Autumn.
Probably.
It's like Autumn Falls or something. I don't know, have you been there yet, Brian? It's just
I
like
don't think so. I think I just got past like the when you go through with the pirate ships to all the different.
Yes.
I think
might be
I'm
one
looking
or
out
It's after
past
that.
that.
Yeah.
maybe I'm 1 or 2 areas after that. Yeah, this is a game to your point. It's an RPG. It's you heard so many good things. I was really enjoying it. The thing is too, like you said, I love the new areas. I love exploring the new different ideas that they develop of the map. But something about this game just got way too repetitive for me. And I think that the story was so lackluster. It was kind of cool in the beginning, and then it just kind of, I feel like, just stayed flat, and then it kind of just like disappears. I think I mentioned this last week. Like, go here to do this, go here to do that, go here to do that. But it doesn't have any impact on like an overarching story. It was kind of just like a go. The gameplay is fun, but at this point, with all the games I've been playing, I think I might just be done. I think I'm quitting. I think I'm throwing in the towel. Because I think I still have like 10 hours left or more.
I'm in the same boat, and hopefully it doesn't change. But I loved the Messenger. Where they
Okay,
made,
see, I didn't play that.
And then I don't know, more than halfway through, it turned into a Metroidvania, which is not my style. And I was like, fuck this. So
Yeah.
I might do that.
We agree, Brian. We agree.
We agree.
I can't believe what that game turns into. It's so weird. Some people love it.
Yeah. Some people love it. Just was not for me. The last third of it.
Yeah. Sea of Stars was. I got through it, but yeah, I know exactly what Drew is saying, and I feel you. Yeah.
Like I said, it's. I'll be blunt. It's actually a good game. And I recognize that it's a good game. It's just not a game for me, I think, is the problem when there's so much other stuff out there right now.
Right.
It's a bad game.
And to what Brian said too, because they kind of said that you don't need to grind or whatever. And that's absolutely true. If you fight every enemy you come across, like there are some places where you could like kind of squeeze by if you want to, but just go and fight every enemy. You won't have to grind. There was never a point where I was like, I got beat and I got to sit down and grind or whatever. And leveling up takes a while, like towards the end of the game too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that promise is held true. And so, and that's great. You really can play through it. And then you can use like some of the relics if you're having some trouble. I thought that was great that, because a lot of games have easy mode and normal mode. And if you're like me, I don't like switching to easy mode. It makes me feel bad. I feel like, but like you can just turn on a relic, even for just one fight, and then turn off that relic. And you don't feel like you're going between modes. You just kind of like give me a little
help.
help.
How you have to find them or buy them or whatever. It's kind of just a cool little extra thing.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a great way to handle it. I think a lot of games should follow that lead, because sometimes you're like, no, I just want to be normal mode, but after a fight, I want my health to restore like other RPGs, and just give me that. That's all I want. I don't want it to be any different. I want the enemies just as hard. But when you do an easy mode, you don't get those choices. Here, you get those choices. You can decide what you need a little help with. So, very cool.
So the other just 2 games I've been playing is Gunbrella, 2D
Yes.
action platformer. Drew, I don't know. I love my action platformers. I think I got through about 3 hours and, go find this guy and go find this girl and this item. And there's not enough action for me. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going
Yeah.
to keep going.
Wow. Oh, I mean,
I
it's
like
a
the
short game.
mechanics, though. I like the mechanics.
I'll say this about Umbrella. It's a short game, which I think every video game should be under 10 hours. I think that's like the perfect length. This is like 6 to 8 hours, right? Perfect timeline. I understand what you're saying, and I think I heard Kuzi or someone else said the same thing, where there was a lot more dialogue than they thought about. This is like a top 3 game of the year for me. I don't know why, because I hate dialogue in games. But I loved this game. I think it was the unique art style. It was the unique theming of like, I don't want to say like cyberpunk / like 1950s era kind of like intriguing story. Like what happened? I don't want, the opening scene. I won't spoil it because I know John hasn't played it yet. The very opening scene, something happens, John, which then pretty much drives the whole storyline. I wanted to know why that happened, how it happened. I was just locked in, and I think in the back of my mind, knowing that it was a shorter game, I can deal with it. I can pay attention more to it. Where like Sea of Stars, and I have all this dialogue. I'm like, fuck, like, I don't want to read this for another 20 hours. But like, I know with Umbrella, it's short-winded that I don't mind reading it and getting into the characters. Like, this was one of the first games in a long time I found myself talking to NPCs that I didn't even have to. Like, I went out of my way, like, what does this NPC have to say? What does that one have to say? The mechanics, like you said, of this action platformer with the umbrella, I'll say the first hour, I'm like, these controllers suck, I'm frustrated. But then it just clicks, and it's like, it's so fluid. It's so cool how you can like you figure out how to do the jumps and the glides and how you can get further. The blocking of it with the umbrella and then versus the shooting. I love how they did all the concepts of the different ammo where you can just find it and easily change it. You don't have to like do anything overcomplicated. The upgrades. I don't know. I absolutely loved this game. It does get, there's a point or two where you do kind of get a little bit of lost, right? I remember there was 1 or 2 spots like I was like, oh, let me go back on the train and go back over to the previous town, where reality, all I had to do was like walk right one screen from where I originally was. And I spent like 20 minutes trying to find someone. But yeah, I did every side quest I found. I don't know why. But this is a game I absolutely loved.
Well, maybe I have to keep plugging along. I think I was just stuck in a part and it's like, there's too much other to play. I'm done.
Yep. That's
but it is short. It is short, so maybe I will pick it back up.
I would say, I mean, again, just me, that over Sea of Stars, if you only have like 3 to 4 hours left.
Yeah. And then the last game is Hades.
Yes.
I always play a couple runs a week. I think I just saw that it's going into early access in Q2 of 2024, so I'm a little bummed because I don't know when it'll actually get released, but I don't mind,
Hades 2, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Hades 2, Hades 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep it cooking, and I can't wait for that game. That's like my Zelda. I can't wait for it.
Wow. It's so good. It's so good. So have you beaten the game a few times?
Oh yeah.
So did you get the true ending?
I believe so. I don't know how
the 10 loops.
Yeah, I did the 10 and
that's it. Yeah,
I got most of the aspects, and I got about 100 hours into that one, and
wow,
I just keep going. I don't know.
It's just fun.
It's just fun
because the weapons are so much fun. Like you can just start like trying to use the bow and arrow, and you get those upgrades, and they feel so freaking good in that game.
Yeah.
And then you can change the difficulties with the different little. I forget the blood mode or whatever they call
the heat. I don't mess with the heat much. I did a buddy of mine's still going. He's over 200 hours, and I think he beat it on like 32 heat.
That's crazy.
And he doesn't stop.
That's like the best type of end game stuff you can do, right? Slay the Spire is also the perfect example of that, because you can enjoy the game, but then they add like these extra challenges that make you want to replay it. Like you said, like the heat. I mean, this gets to a point where it's not fun anymore, right? Like Slay the Spire, I'm at the part you have to beat the final boss twice, and I can't do it. It's impossible. But what a genius little post game for these types of games that just want people to keep playing.
Yeah, it's great.
I was relieved to see that the official release. I'm not going to play early access or anything like that. I'll just wait for it to come out. But I was kind of thinking it would come out early 2024, but it sounds like it'll be mid to late 2024. I mean, at the earliest. And I've been wanting to replay Hades because it's been a while. And like, give me a reason to replay Hades, sure. Yeah. But it's like right now there's so many games. It's like maybe I'll have more time beginning of 2024.
Hambo played a level or two during Extra Life, and I was watching him, and it made me, to your point, John, like, man, I want to play this game again now. It's so good.
Yeah.
I still listen to the soundtrack. I still listen to the soundtrack all the time. It's everything about that game. Just it's perfect.
So good. John, what about you?
So I just finished Pikmin 4 today.
Oh, so good.
Had a great time. I'm just so excited that I had started playing it a couple weeks ago, right? On the last episode, I think.
Yeah.
It was a game that I kept hearing everyone like really enjoyed it. And then I was like, I got all that post game or whatever. But yeah, I played through it, rolled the credits, and then I wasn't sure if I was going to continue on. And they unveil a new area, and I was just like Pikmin is so relaxing and so fun, but at the same time, I felt like I was a little burnt out on it, but I didn't have anything else to play, so I just started dorking with that, and I was like, yeah, this whole area is huge. Like I played a couple days worth, and it was like you're 3% done. And I was like, holy moly!
Yeah, it's a big game.
And then just kept playing it. I don't know why. I just kept going and going. I finished that. I did the next level. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm probably done. I've 100%ed all the areas. And then I was like, well, but I still have these guys with the feathers on them that I want to undo. And so Michelle and I, we co-opted, and she did the co-op. I hadn't done co-op
threw the
before.
rocks.
So she was throwing the rocks.
Yes, the rock thrower.
And because I didn't really love the underground levels. I love the sound of throwing the neon Pikmin and everything, but it's just... there's a lot of parts of this game that are also very stressful, and it's not the parts of Pikmin I kind of like. So having her, she helped a lot. I got all 8 of my guys defeathered, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done. And then there's like, well, there's this Olimer quest, and I was like, well, I'll try that. And that was a lot of fun.
I did all of those. Yeah.
Also very stressful. I won't really say what it is, but you know what it is. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm done. But then there's this Trial of the Sages.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I will try that today. But I said, whether I finish it or not today's the last day I play Pikmin. But while I watch my miserable Denver Broncos, I'm going to just try the Trial of Sages and just see how far I go. And the first level was hard. And I was like, oh my, I'm not going to make it through this. But then I got past it.
The first one was hard. And then it got easier for a little bit.
Some of them, I like it because, some of them were easier. There was, I think the 7th or 8th level I did on the first try.
How many levels are there? I forget.
10.
10, okay.
And I got to the 10th and I tried it a few times and I was like, it's not a big level. I love it. I love when things are difficult, but it's not a big area. Yeah. So it's like, this is hard, but I understand where I'm going. And I tried over and over and over and over, and I wasn't able to do it. And then I chatted with Dylan, who's a Pikmin fanatic. And I said, you got any advice for me on this last level? And he gave me a little bit of advice. And I was like, oh, that's a much smarter way to go about it. Mm. And it took me a few more tries. And then I did it. And I was like, I'm done. I did everything in the game. I think there was one side quest that's finishable that I didn't do. You have to like get 4 bugs of something. And I was like, I don't care. I'm done. Yeah. But I bought everything for Ochi. I bought everything from the lab. And it was great. It was fantastic. I think it took me about 40 hours or so.
So good. That's another top game of the year for me. I loved Pikmin.
Yeah, glad to be past it. And you should definitely try the other ones, especially 3. See how you go. I continued playing Baldur's Gate 3. Fantastic video game. Absolutely a top game of the year contender. So there's 3 acts in this game that I've heard. I finished the first act, and I swear it took me forever. But there's like the exploration of this game is so good. I rarely have played a game where exploring is so fun. It's so easy to say, oh yeah, it's cool to explore and whatever. But sometimes you play a game like The Witcher, and exploration is fun, but it's also so big. It's like
you're exploring nothing almost sometimes.
There's not the maps aren't huge in this game. Like you can get around, and there's so much rock and everything that it's, even if it's like a big circle, like most of it you can't even go. But you like come across something going on, and there's really engaging characters and so many different ways to get through it. It's not like you just come across a quest and it's like, okay, kill this guy. It's just like you might solve the problem in so many ways. Maybe you give them a little bit of money, or maybe you have some items that can help, and just really cool things that you can do. It's amazing. It's a fantastic game. I finished Act 1 and I felt so good. I was like, this is great. And then I immediately got stuck in the beginning of Act 2. I'm not sure what to do. And I said, I got to take a break, though. It's like, it's one of those games. I'm having so much fun. I love it to death, but it's not like an action game. It's not about swordplay. It's turn-based.
Yeah.
And there's so much inventory management as you go. And I've just gotten a little like exhausted, and it's like, I need something more action-based. So I haven't played it for a couple days, but I'm definitely going to get back to it. And I picked up Monster Hunter World again.
Which one is... Oh, that's just the Monster Hunter game.
This is the one on PlayStation. Yeah, Monster Hunter World was the one on kind of the other consoles. And the Switch had Monster Hunter Rise.
But it's the same game, or is it completely different?
Well, it's a different game.
Okay.
I've actually thought about getting Monster Hunter Rise on PlayStation just to enjoy it in its
that's right.
graphical splendor. But I played 300 hours of Rise on Switch. And as much as like I would love to sort of play it a bit, I'm just like, no, I want a different experience. Monster Hunter World really scratches that itch. I had played 10 hours of it last year, and I was annoyed with myself because I bought it. It was on a really good sale, and I bought it, but I didn't realize it was available on PS Plus. So I could have just played it for free. And then after I put it down, after 10 hours, I felt like, I wish I would have paid nothing and put it down after 10 hours. But because I bought it, and I'm still thinking about the DLC, Iceborne, which is a huge expansion for it, I wanted to try it again. And the reason why I'm trying it again is because I feel like when I started that game, I said, I'm going to use a whole different weapon than I played in Rise. So I used the hammer. And I really didn't love the hammer.
I love the hammer. That's my favorite weapon.
Yeah, it just didn't vibe with me. So I said, okay, I'm going to start it. I'm going to start from scratch, new character. I need to learn the mechanics again. And I decided to go with longsword, which actually was my original, not my original weapon, but my second weapon I use on Rise.
Is that different than greatsword?
Yeah, the longsword is
more like skinnier.
Faster. Yeah, it's skinnier. Yeah. It's faster.
That's right.
When you roll credits the first time in Monster Hunter Rise, the old man gives you his sword, and that's when I started using the longsword on Rise. But then I eventually switched to the greatsword before the expansion came out. I went with the sword, and I'm having so much more fun, so much more engaged. I just like it better. So I am fighting to get back to where I got the first time, which is when you have to like the first really big monster that you literally crawl on like a platformer. But I'm getting there much faster. And for the first time ever, I got to play with a rando. When you play Rise, it is so much easier to join a quest that some random people are playing. Yeah, you just pick the quest you want to do, and you just say, join, and you go on somebody's quest, and maybe it finishes right away, or maybe you help them out and then you get credit for it. It works great. Monster Hunter World's a little bit different. You have to go find somebody's online session, which you can do in Rise as well, and you just sort of join their community.
Okay.
Then you post a quest, and then people there can join, but that's really the extent of it there. And so what I've done is I've joined people's rooms, and I just go and I just do my own thing. I don't even pay attention to what they're doing right now. I'm just going through my quests and trying to make progress in the game. But then in the levels, what happens is you go in, you have to find the monster, and it's different in World. You have to like find footprints. They don't tell you where your target is when you get there. You have to go around the forest and you find footprints, or you find things in the wall, and you're like, oh, and then you follow a direction. So it's a little bit different. Once you see the monster, then it does its animation and everything. And then it says you can use an SOS flare now. And at that point, you have to fire an SOS flare. And it's a pretty cool little animation, like fired in the air. And it's like, wah! And then people can join you. So you are forced to find the monster and then start handling the monster before someone will come and help you.
It's interesting.
It's just different. So it's different. And it's funny because when you see the monster, if you go to the menu to do an SOS flare, I mean, you get smacked. So you have to kind of run and hide and do it. So I don't like it better than Rise, but World is so fascinating because the environments are so lush. you feel like you're in a jungle. And the monsters, they look beautiful, and they have a lot of like cutscenes and animation that really integrates with the game.
Mm.
And it feels like such a great campaign. You have this companion character who handles all your quests for you, and you're always talking to her and whatever. And the campaign just feels so much better than Rise. And I hate to say it, but just graphically, it really sucks you in. It has more immersive. But there are gameplay mechanics in Rise that I like better than World. World has a expansion called Iceborne, which is very well loved. They said it's amazing expansion for the game, and they actually give you some mechanics that help you to like. It's kind of like the wire bug stuff in Rise.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy Iceborne because I feel like if I drop the game again, now I'm in for double the cost because I'll have bought the game and the DLC. But I have a feeling I'm heading towards finishing World and then maybe checking out Iceborne.
Definitely buying Iceborne.
I'm just having a good time.
You love Monster Hunter. You put like 300 hours into Rise.
Yeah. And I'm playing this one alone because my friend who played tons of World and then joined me in Rise, I mean, he's gone through this before.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, no, I'm having a good time, and I'll just play with every rando that I can find. But I finally had a rando join my game. We beat the monster, and I got a trophy, and I was like, holy crap. That was the first time I ever did that, because it really is not as intuitive as Rise. Rise is a lot better with it.
Okay.
I'm having a good time. So at some point I'll get back to Baldur's Gate 3, but right now I'm still playing Monster Hunter World. That's it.
Sweet.
I don't know what I'm going to play next for Switch. I'm going to wait.
Umbrella. You can play it in a couple days.
I'm kind of waiting for reviews on Wargroove 2. That comes out October 5th.
You better play that regardless.
Yeah, we'll see. And then I've been thinking about trying Return of the Obra Dinn again. But other than that, Rizzle knows, I think I might jump back into Dead Cells some more and play. I just bought the regular DLC, Rizzle, not the Return to Castlevania I had, but I didn't have the other DLCs, the 3 that you bought.
Oh, okay.
And so, I'm at that point where I go to a new area and I unlock the achievement for it on the, it's in the game on Switch. And I might go exploring in there and continue to unlock and do some things. So I'm gonna try to stay away from playing anything if I can until the 5th, unless I play Obra Dinn. But other than that, it's gonna be Dead Cells, Slay the Spire, that sort of stuff.
Yes, nice. I've been playing a lot of games. I'll probably really talk about 2, as we already talked about Sea of Stars and Umbrella. Moving Out 2, I finally wrapped up my playing of that. I did all the collectibles, which was all the characters and all the skins and all of the cartridges that you find that unlock like these bonus levels in the arcade. I did all that, and I probably collected 2/3 of all the stars. There's like 250. I think I did like 170-ish or something like that. What a great game. Love that game. When the wife and I wrapped that up, we decided to look at Overcooked All You Can Eat, which includes the first 2 games and all the DLC associated with them. It's fine. I think, personally, again, Moving Out is significantly more fun for me. I think the big thing I like about Moving Out better than Overcooked is Moving Out has typically 5 or 6 stars you can get every level, right? The 2 of them it's 5. 2 of them, got it. 2 of them is just like beating the level within the time limit, and the second one is like a pro, like beat it within this time limit. And then the other 3 are like random fun things, like don't break the windows, don't fall into the water, deliver this random item. Like it's like 3 random missions within the level, which is kind of fun. What I see with Overcooked is just like 3 stars based on how good you do, and that's it, right? So for me, I like that Moving Out. Every level is a little bit different mentality. We'll keep playing Overcooked. It's fine, but I don't know. It's okay. Disney Speedstorm still going strong, John. I got fucking Gantu. I did it. I went. I beat the missions I needed to do. I got them.
What else have you been playing? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. The Lilo and Stitch season is wrapping up, and next week begins Aladdin is going to be the new one. I think the unlockable characters are the Givens, Aladdin, Jasmine, the Genie, and Jafar. And then they always release 2 random characters throughout the season. That season is going to be
Frank.
Gaston. No, it's Gaston.
Frank from Aladdin. Everyone remember Frank from Aladdin?
Frank. No, Gaston and Hades will also be making a surprise appearance.
Hades. Wow.
Hades.
Nice game.
I started playing Pokemon Arceus with Evan a little bit. He got it for his birthday, so he wanted to play, so he played a little
that
bit
game
of that.
is so good.
I do like the mechanic of the catching the Pokemon and throwing the ball. It's kind of unique and different than the other games.
It's like peaceful, and you get the little, it reminds me of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, the little sound effects, and you just like, you don't get this big dun, dun, dun. It's just like catch it. Once you start getting the quests and you start checking them off, it's like addictive drugs.
So yeah, we'll see how far if he wants to play with it into that. The 2 games I want to talk about is I discovered old game in 2019, Super Kirby Clash. Either of you guys play this?
Not a chance, no.
So this is a free game. You can order the eShop. You download it for free. Being free, it has
I'm already out.
It has that mobile mentality where like you have so much points and you have to like use these points to battle. And then like, you might run out. You can like buy apples for up. It has that mobile mentality, but the point of the game is, it's just classic Kirby. You can pit between 4 different character types: sword, hammer, mage, or like a healer. And you just do boss battles. That's the whole game. You just do boss battles. 4-player couch co-op you can do. You can also play online with friends. It was a great game. Me, my wife, and my son played it. We just played together. We played it for like 2 hours straight. And the cool thing is every time you level up, you refresh all of your like points that you need to spend. So I didn't put $1 into the game. I probably played it for 4 hours so far. It's fine. It's not something I'm going to be playing much longer. But you know what? It was free. We spent some time on it so far. It's been fun. The last game I want to talk about is I went against my better judgment. For once in my life, I actually looked up reviews of games, and this game was not scoring very well. And that is Mythforce. I was super excited. Mythforce is that Saturday morning cartoon looking first-person game, kind of that He-Man look. The style of this game is a roguelike game. It reminds me of kind of like, all these like battle games now, like Overwatch. It kind of has that like arena concept in my mind. Like there's the level styles like an arena. You have to kill all the enemies in that area. And then it opens up like a gate where you move on to the next area. You do like 4 or 5 of them. And there's treasure chests you can find and stuff along the way. And then you get to a boss. And there's upgrades that you can do. There's shards you can find that drop, things like that. I will say this. It's, how do I say this nicely, John? Because you're going to laugh at me here. This is probably the first time, I don't know why, and I get this as a cartoon look, and that's the approach they're going with. I think this game suffers on the Nintendo Switch. It does. Loading times are a little long. There is a few glitches a little bit. And I would say this.
Never thought I would see the day.
I know, John. It almost
complaining about graphics and loading.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying it was noticeable. It feels like a game stuck in time, somewhere between like an N64 and GameCube era. Like if there was a console between there, that's where this game falls. It's just. It feels a little clunky, and I get maybe that's the style they were going for, but it feels like those old school like Hetson, Doom. It's just I don't know. You can pick a few different characters between like an archer and a knight and a thief and a mage or something like that. I think I've tried 2 of them so far. I probably played 2 hours. I actually beat a run this morning. I beat my first run. There just seems like there's 1,000 things to upgrade, and I played this game for like probably 3 hours or so, and I feel like I don't even have enough shards to upgrade one thing, and there's probably 50 things to upgrade. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. This game was $30. I regret it. I'm glad I played it, but I regret it. I don't know how much longer I'll play this for. I need Wardroof 2 because I'm kind of going to be in Jumbo here until I find my next game. So Mythforce, That's what everyone's been talking about. The
Told
reviews
ya.
don't lie. It has its issues.
You know how I knew Mythforce wasn't going to be great? When even Tim hinted he wasn't really enjoying it. That takes a lot.
Yeah, it's just very like bland. Very bland. You just fight these skeletons and these mushrooms, and it's just bland.
It is so easy for roguelites to go wrong. It is. I don't know where the line is on it. And
Well,
if I
think
described Hades to you, like, it would sound bad, because the thing about Hades is you say, well, there's 3 areas and you fight the same boss every time, and most of the enemies are the same, but you got to do that and you got to beat 10 runs. It'd be like, why would I play
but
that?
it's all about.
But it's so fun.
I think it's all about how you control the character and the combat.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
the key to any road-like type game, right? It's the
Yeah.
combat
Yep.
and movability of the character. And when you're talking first person and I'm holding a shield and a mace, and I just feel like I'm like Doom or Hetson from N64, just swinging a mace. Like that's the movement. Yeah, and like that's what I'm playing. Like I'm playing a game, I feel like that's 20, 25 years old.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't like first person games, and that's exactly why that old style. Like,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So, Mythforce, kind of a bust.
Mythworse, am I right?
$30 too. I really wish that game was like $9.99.
$30.
Oof.
I'm making up for it with Super Kirby Clash.
Maybe go back to Red Dead now.
Maybe Red Dead's not looking too bad now.
Red Dead's looking pretty good.
That's it for me, though.
All right, we played a lot. We didn't do too bad. We got through that pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, 36 minutes or so. Not bad. All right, let's play What Do You Think? And the first thing, I want to know what you guys think about. How awesome is Mortal Kombat 1 on Nintendo Switch? Maybe the game of the year by far, but all the haters out there want to bust on it because they're jealous of the power of the Switch. But no, really. You guys, I assume, have all seen video pictures of Mortal Kombat 1 on the Nintendo Switch. It is the thumbnail for this for this episode. I got to ask a question. Let's start off this quick conversation. Why did they publish this? Why would you publish a port of the game that nobody really expected would have come to Switch? We were all surprised that this was going to be on Switch, and sell it for $70.
So $70. Is this now only the second game besides Tears of the Kingdom that was $70? Besides special editions or collector's editions or anything like that? Straight up the base game.
The industry has gotten to $70 games if you go beyond the Switch. This is a port.
But like, I'm talking Switch only.
Maybe because most games that are charged $70 don't get ported over to the Switch. It was kind of like an unexpected port. Maybe that's the line, right? If your game is $70, it probably is not going to run well on the Switch.
Well, I mean, the first thought was when you hear this was coming is, it's probably a cloud game. Right, that's got to be kind of my instant thought.
It's a fighting game. You kind of prefer them not to have like that input lag. But
I think it would have been better than what we got, John.
Oh, sure. So what do you think is the reason why they went ahead? Like at some point they had to green light it. They could have delayed it, right? They could have said, this isn't looking good, we're going to delay it. We've seen that so many times before. Why do you think they just gave the green light and pushed it out? Do you think that they expected that sales were going to be low anyway, or put it out? Do you think that they just didn't put enough budget to the team that was porting it? Or do you think they just ran out of time? No. Or do you think the team just sucked?
Maybe they want assholes like us all over the internet that are just talking about it and talking about it. Now that I've talked more about Mortal Kombat in the last week than I probably would have ever talked about in my life. Maybe this is a genius gameplay marketing strategy.
Brian, are you buying it?
Personally, I can't get enough of the memes. They're outstanding. Like Drew, I'm a Switch only gamer. I'm not into fighting games, but it's just, it should have never been on the Switch. It's underpowered, and I know obviously the port's god awful, but I don't know. I mean, it didn't even come out on PS4 or anything, right? It was just
right. Yeah.
So
they should have.
Yeah. I mean, but so it's, I don't know if it was budgetary or they just said it's going to sell low anyhow, but there'll be some casuals that'll see Mortal Kombat. Oh, new Mortal Kombat that'll buy it that don't know anything better, but they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
I wouldn't be shocked if this eventually does get ported to PS4. I'm sure there's some regrets to whoever made that decision not to just put it on PS4. I will say that Ed Boon is the guy behind Mortal Kombat, promises to fix it. Obviously that this makes them look bad. But do you think this hurts Nintendo in any way, or how people perceive the Nintendo Switch, that a bad port is
I do
kind of being spread around?
I think it absolutely hurts Nintendo, John. And you wonder, like, Nintendo that owning the Switch, right? That's their hardware, that's their IP, that's theirs. At which point does Nintendo step in and say, or can they stay in legally and say that garbage isn't going on my console? Or are they even checking, right? Look at all the shovelware
Seal
that
of
comes
quality.
out. But right, look at all the shovelware that comes out. So they probably don't give a shit. But you're absolutely correct in saying this is the perfect example of while the Switch is underpowered. This makes Nintendo look bad in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, the Switch is better than this. I think they just did. They stripped it down. They started from like bare bones, like models and whatever, and then they just were like, okay, ship it. Maybe they ran out of time or whatever. But like the Switch is better than this. I don't expect to see it match a PS5 in any way, but the Switch is better than this, and I think it does. It makes the Nintendo Switch look bad, and Nintendo should be pissed at them. So we'll see like where the fixes are, but and the topic came up on the Discord too, that it was like, it's kind of the same conversation that we have, right? And you and I, Drew, have had this conversation where, the graphics, the loading time is just not as good as the Switch or whatever. And it's like, but is it fun? And it's very easy to say, yeah, the game is fun. It doesn't look as great, whatever. But the thing about Mortal Kombat, which is interesting, is so much of Mortal Kombat is the graphics, the gore, right? We used to argue this years ago that there wasn't blood on the Super Nintendo. The game was the same, but there was no blood, and people were turned down by that. Mortal Kombat, especially this Mortal Kombat 1, is so beautiful looking, and there's so much personality in the characters that when you strip down those characters to the base models, it really loses something. And that was the most noticeable. Besides the glitches will get fixed. But like when you see two characters interacting with one another, or that load screen where they get together and then they pull back, when that doesn't click right, it really takes away from the game. Even if they got the combat perfect, Mortal Kombat demands that detail. And yeah, you're never going to get it on the Switch. That's never going to happen. All right. Anybody else mad? Anybody else? Is that what we have for the topic?
I back what Brian says as well. I mean, not bashing you like Street Fighter. I feel like fighting games in this style is a thing from the past. This was cool in the 90s and 2000s when we had all these arcade games, but there's so many games out there now. I just can't see myself wanting to play a fighting game like these anymore.
Brian, do you play any fighting games?
No, it's probably, I played the old ones in the, like Drew said, in the arcade, and but I haven't played any recent ones. No real fighters. No.
I will make my last comment and say, having Street Fighter 6 and played through a lot of that, and then Mortal Kombat 1, which is a game that I really kind of want to get, but because I have Street Fighter 6, I don't want this one. The thing about the fighting community is that there is such a community, and it becomes a race from day one to master the characters. And I see people figuring out combos that they can do an entire match and win on one combo, and that sort of perfection stuff where they are just playing and trying to perfect it. And that's just not how I play fighting games. I just want to go in and have some fun, and maybe I'll figure out a little combo on my own. But people start researching this and putting them online. And even in the old days when we played Street Fighter 2, you would find some good players in your local arcade, but there really wasn't that community online that people were sharing those secrets. It was really just sort of playing an experience. And now it really is go online, find out the combo sequence that Melina can do to get 3/4 of her health off. And that becomes the race to find
Just
that.
jam buttons. Just jam buttons.
Yeah, it's so much more fun if you just play for fun. Just play for fun, man. All right. Let's go. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a new segment, but we only have a few big topics here. But the second one is Unity. That has been a really interesting topic this week, and I'm not sure if you guys have followed this or not.
A little bit.
But yeah, I'll break it down. Basically, Unity, there are costs associated with Unity. Unity is a development system for making games. Back in the old days, every company, Konami, Capcom, had their own gaming development engine. And then over time, we started to see the Unreal Engine, and then these published engines, companies that were making development IDEs for making games. And Unity is the number one out there. There's a whole bunch. There's Game Maker, there's RPG Maker, there's a bunch of them.
So I'm going to ask a dumb question, John.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm a developer, right? And I want to use Unity. Let's say before this fiasco happened, what would I pay Unity, or how would I get access to using Unity to develop my game? Like, what was the old school?
If you were making games, so Sebastian uses Unity and he plays with it. He's just kind of like learning and all that.
Yep.
So there's 3 tiers that I know of in Unity. There's a Unity Personal, which is also like a college, like a student version. That is free, and you can actually publish to Steam. You can publish a game to Steam, and there's limits to how many downloads or purchases or whatever before you have to buy a license. The first license is the Pro license. That lets you submit games to eShop, Xbox Store, PlayStation Store. How much do you think that costs per year?
So it's a subscription fee.
It is. You buy the software, but you basically have a license for the year.
Kind of no different than like Adobe Photoshop.
Yeah,
or something
with
like
this
that.
kind of software, they're always iterating on it, so you don't really buy it and then you can keep it for 10 years. You
and this
pay
is
for
just
a seat.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to create a game, though, I could just do it for the 1 year and be done. If I was done making my game.
Well, you would be able to update your game, but yeah, like if you wanted to build your game with Personal and then you got a license for Pro and then you released it to the store and never did an update,
Oh my God.
yeah,
I have zero idea, but like
it is
$5,000. I don't know.
It is $2,000 per year per seat. So if you're an indie and you're just it's $2,000 a year, which is a lot unless you're selling your game. If you are a small company and you have 15 people working on it, that's going to cost you $30,000 a year. That's the Pro. And then they have a third tier, which is their enterprise tier. It's the same thing as Pro basically, but your customer support will be answered very quickly.
Front of the line. And how much
the
is
biggest companies, that's $5,000 a year per seat. So that's how they make their money. But what they started doing is they want to start charging for the number of downloads that your game has.
Can they even have access to that?
That's the funny part is because you would think they would charge you for the sale. They would charge you a percentage of that sale, but it's the download. And my theory has been is because they can't get the number of sales. They know how many people have probably bought the game or started it because they have analytics, but they don't know how much they paid for it. So they were going to go 20 cents per download of your game because it's the only way they really know. That's the only thing their analytics can do.
And this is even on the free version, or is this only on certain versions?
So it was like if it has a certain number of downloads or whatever, they'll charge you.
There's a minimum. If you did 100 downloads, you're not going to charge 20 cents.
Yeah, and that was part of the kerfuffle, which is it didn't take into account how much your game cost. If you sold your game for $2 or $1, they're charging 20 cents a download. That's a 20% markup. But if your game is $60, 20 cents is not very much. But then it's based on downloads. And and a lot of these games that are in the stores, these people made decisions on Unity years ago. And it was based on the fact that what they'd have to pay. And then suddenly you change that. And instead of just saying, well, instead of $2,000 a year, it's $2,200 a year. Now you're saying we're going to charge you 20 cents per download. And you're expecting to sell 2 million copies of your game. Do the math. That's a lot of money. Yep. So there was a big kerfuffle. They backed off this week. They made some changes. They were going to start this beginning 2024 right away. And based on their statement, it's going to go into effect with the next major iteration of their software. But you actually have the option to not use that iteration of the software and you won't pay. But once you choose that, once you start using the new iteration of their software that's coming out in 2024, they have some higher caps, like you need more downloads and whatever. Then they will charge you. But you can choose, and this is a weird one. I don't understand this. You can you can take the 2.5% revenue share of your sales, and you can go with that. I don't think Unity knows that number, but you can send that number to them and then say, I will pay you 2.5% of this amount. I think I don't know how they're going to do that with that number. They backed off, but yeah, they do. For the most successful companies, they do plan on charging basically per purchase at least. Okay. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right? I honestly kind of see both sides of the fence. So don't hate me. I do agree that you can't bat fit this to these smaller companies or whoever that might already have made their decisions and stuff like that. But going forward, if this was like a drop dead as far as starting this state, I mean, you just have to adjust accordingly. Like at the end of the day, it's the company, you're using their tool, then you need to charge 20 cents more per your game. I hate to say it, right? I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I'm on both sides of it. You know, if that's what they need for their operating costs to go up, they're providing a service. If you don't want to use their service, don't use it. It's 20 cents. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, it really depends on the price of the game, John. But if your game's $10, then shit, I don't know, charge $10.20.
Yeah. I understood it a little bit too. They're building a tool that allows you to be a game developer because, I mean, some of these people wouldn't be able to do it without those tools.
Yeah.
But clearly, yeah, like, you know, I've got, Hollow Knight out there, and now you're saying you want 20 cents per download. That didn't factor that in. That just doesn't seem right to me.
That's not right. I mean, they're capitalizing in a growing market, and they're hoping that these small indie people, like someone like Undertale, uses Unity that out of nowhere and sells 1 million copies. And those are the people they're like, wow, we want to capitalize on those people. but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just those little indie places that they're trying to capitalize on that money.
Yep.
So
I actually thought, because I feel like PlayStation is the least sort of indie friendly system. I don't know why that is. Maybe their costs for like a dev kit are much higher or whatever. But like, I feel like Switch is an indie darling, and a lot of indie games make it to Xbox. I thought, wouldn't it be cool for PlayStation to go in and say, hey, if we charge you 30% per sale on our store, guess what? We're going to charge you 27.5%. We'll pay Unity directly 2.5%. Unity would be happy because then they don't have to deal with any of this. And the developers would be like, okay, cool. You're going to pay them off for me. Whether I think that's right or wrong, you're going to take care of it for me. Maybe that would bring some more indie developers over to Sony, and we'd see more games.
So fair point there, right? What about something like PS Plus and Game Pass, right? Where who's paying that 20 cents per download?
Right, because people download. I downloaded so many games off those two services that I didn't even end up playing.
But who's responsible? Is Microsoft paying that, or is the developer paying that now?
The developer, yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe that's part of the new contracts. If you want my game on Game Pass, you're paying per the download fee.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But maybe that's in the contract negotiation. I don't know. Brian, what's your overall thoughts?
I don't know. When does this kick in, John? Do you know?
Probably like closer to mid 2024, and that's if you immediately adopt their new set of tools, which you don't have to do.
That's like the new version.
But yeah, as a software developer, I know that probably within a year or two after, they're not going to, like, if the Switch 2 comes out, right? I bet you they don't update the existing tools with Switch 2 support. So eventually you're going to be forced to use these tools. You can't hold on to these forever.
Sure.
And probably fairly quickly you're going to have to switch over. So, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not going to happen January 1st, 2024.
I don't know. My take on it is kind of, what Drew said in regards to kind of stinks, but they're going to just developers will have to figure it out and change their practices a little bit, and or else find somewhere else to go, but use. But I don't know.
Yeah. There's other platforms. If you look at the games for Unity and the games for Game Maker, you can see a big difference. So like Game Maker, you'll see like Katana Zero, like a lot of 2D type games that look indie, but Unity, like I think Doom 2016 was built in Unity. There's some like big games that were built with Unity because it can do 3D as well. And there's some big games that are available that you would not believe. You would think are just part of, this is just, part of like, Nintendo or whatever. But I think there's Nintendo games that have used Unity. So it's a very popular system. Slime Ranchers and Among Us and all those things are all there. But there's a lot of games you wouldn't even know are on Unity. It's clearly the leader. So some big game companies like switching to Game Maker or whatever it's tough. I mean, there's such a class difference between the tools. So we'll see where that goes. So next topic, this is a smaller one, but I thought it was interesting. They're releasing a package on Switch of all the Picrosses from the 3DS. It's going to be called Picross S Plus, and it's releasing all of the Picross E games, basically all the Picross games from 3DS, essentially. There's 9 or 10 games that are going to be in this package. You're only going to get one when you buy it, but every game that you want, you can buy with a $5 DLC. So basically it's like a shell app that gives you one game, and then you can buy all these older ones from 3DS, and I think they've remastered them a bit. So that can end up being like $50 if you buy them all, right? Here's the thing, though. Here's my question for you guys. Was the strategy to release all of these Picross games as a Switch package something that was decided on after they shut down the eShop? Or was it one of the reasons why they did shut down the eShop? Because now Nintendo can re-release those 3DS games.
I think that's overthinking it. I think personally, I don't think that's a reason why they would shut it down, and I don't think that's a reason why they wouldn't shut it down. If that made sense.
I mean, I could see it as like if we shut down the eShop, which, maybe we're not getting a ton of sales. Now, like we've already seen the Ace Attorney games are getting re-released on the Switch as a package. We're seeing this.
I mean, you know how
I'm waiting for Fire Emblem Awakening remasters to come.
You know how I feel about remakes and all this shit to begin with, right? I mean, as far as the old school classics, I mean, obviously the new NSO is their answer to everything, right? They want your subscription fee, but I kind of like this approach of the game's $5, and then you get to decide on what other ones you want for $5. Do you know what I'm saying? Remember a long time ago we talked about the concept of, the game's free. You play level 1 and like, oh, would you like to continue? Pay $1.99, and then you play level 2. Because think about it.
That.
I mean, no, to Brian's point, maybe he wouldn't have paid the next $10 for Umbrella. You know what? I tried it $2. I didn't get the rest of it, but I kind of like this concept. I think this is a smart concept because you're gonna have people that maybe will end up spending more. Right? I mean, if you came out with a Picross 10 games of Picross for $50, how many people would buy that, John? Very few.
Yeah, because once you go through Picross, you're not like, let's do 9 more.
But if they say, here's this game for $5, and then you can get this one, that one, they're going to buy 3 more, they end up spending $20, right?
Yeah, but they could also just sell them individually for $5. They don't even have to be part of one package. So
this is really irrelevant.
Yeah.
I still like the idea of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it had a decision personally. I don't think that would have a decision off the 3D, the eShop. I think that was just they're thin in the past, the new strategy moving forward. Personally,
yeah, I agree. It seems like a new strategy. It's tough to look back and see, but however, I would like a Fire Emblem Awakening to come out on the Switch. That
game is so good, man. I would love to see a remaster. I would get a box copy. I want to play it again, but every time I bust out my 3DS, I feel like nobody can see that I'm playing my 3DS, as nobody sees that I'm playing this game.
But
I
you'll
really
know.
want a remaster of it. I think we'll get one. For sure.
I would look forward
right.
to that.
Yeah. You and me, day one. Let's go. All right. We got some questions from the community. First question we got is from Beer Cerveza. How did this show get its start? I didn't realize that you guys had not met face to face before Extra Life. How did this dynamic duo meet?
Well, a long time ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, John and I used to run this thing called tournaments in the Nintendo Dads community. This was about right when they switched over to Discord, when they used, what they using that other app before that, right when they switched over about Discord.
Line.
They switched over to Discord, and we started introducing what we call tournaments.
You actually started this.
I started tournaments, and you used to partake in almost all of them, right?
Because I was doing it for my local gaming group. And then you were doing it. I was like, I love this guy. He's doing these events like I do. And it's like, I want to help him.
Yeah. So what is tournament? Tournaments is essentially what Monthly Mayhem is now. It was about a monthly tournament, very different rules, not very different, similar type of rules and stuff like that. So I got to know John because he was playing those until he just said it. He got to started talking to me. We started talking. And then right around that time, I don't want to say right around the time, but then Diablo 3 came out. And I think that's what really hooked us up even more, because we said, let's play online. And we just started chatting. Every time we played, we put our headphones on and we just chat, everyday life stuff. And I think that just got us to know each other very well. And then I think throughout that, let's start a podcast. Well, I think it was a little more than that. I think we started talking to the Nintendo dads and say, hey, we have this idea. You guys... because if you don't know, the Nintendo Dads used to do this Dads After Dark, not very often, but every once in a while. Essentially what Dads After Dark was before the dinner table, they'd go see the new Star Wars movie, and they would have like a bonus episode, and it'd be Dads After Dark, and they'd talk about the Star Wars movie and do a review and record it. So we said, well, we like this idea because I don't know. I guess maybe I'm After Dark, and John liked the idea as well. And
I legit. I don't know if you knew about it. I legit did not know that they had an After Dark shows, and I think they had stopped doing these shows like 2 or 3 years prior. Yeah. I legit did not even know they existed until later. But I was. Justin had come to us and said, "You guys should do," because we were doing the video Monthly Mayhem shows.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Editing the video, and we had been doing that for a while. And he said, "Do you guys want to do like a podcast with our family or whatever?" And he said, "You should think of some ideas." And the only reason I really pitched After Dark was because I felt like, what is it that the Nintendo dads don't cover that we could do, right? And it was like, oh, they're family friendly, so it's not like I wanted to be like gratuitous or whatever, but I wanted to be able to talk about like, like we talked about Twitch and the hot tub, shows and things like that, hottest hotties on Nintendo or whatever.
And
so
that was the hot topic at the time. Correct. Yeah.
Right.
We wanted to talk about that.
They can't do it, so we'll do it. And we do. We venture into topics that maybe they can't talk about as much.
And I'll never forget the first time Justin asked us to do it. He said, "Well, let me record this little pre-recorded what's the word? Like banner. It's just pretty much
a warning, like a content warning.
Content warning, because they were putting our episode on their main feed." So it was up there for probably 3 hours until the hate mail started coming in of like, my kids listen to this, and here we are talking about naked hot tub girls and effing this. And it did not last long. And we said, yeah, we can't have this anymore, guys. So for a while, well, at that point, I think we just created our own feed. Or no, or Jesse was putting them up on a...
I would send it to Jesse, and then he would do it. We didn't have control of it at all until I think didn't we start that in like season 3? I think we did.
I think season 2.
I don't think we ever I don't know if we had a season 2. We didn't really have seasons until whatever. It was at least season 2. But it wasn't right away. And then that's when we started doing it. I actually have the Justin intros. I haven't listened to this in a while. But he sent a file with like a bunch of them, but let me play like the first one. This is what they sounded like.
Hey folks, Dads After Dark is part of the Nintendo Dads After Dark line of podcasts, which means the content, it's not necessarily PG, it's not necessarily kid friendly. So yeah, you've been warned. Enjoy.
And then he does multiple versions. Look, this is just one take.
Dads After Dark is part of the Nintendo Dads After Dark production, which means it's after dark, which means your kids maybe should be in bed because this isn't appropriate content for them. And I don't want to judge parenting. I'm not judging parenting. You do you. But yeah.
So
this was great. This wasn't something we asked for. This was Justin more like, hey guys, we're going to let you do this, but you have to put this before every episode.
Yeah. And I was going to put a different clip in front of every episode over time. But then I think after a few, we stopped posting them because we weren't on their feed anyway. But I still think it would be a great way to like start the show if we didn't have our normal intro and then just go right to the music from there. I think it hypes it up, right? Do you ever watch a movie when you were a kid and it says rated R and it was like full nudity and you're like, oh yeah, now I definitely want to watch this. It's like
when did we? I don't know.
Justin hypes me up, man. I want to watch this. All right. Sean Abbott asks, pineapple on pizza? Sean, we've answered this 5 times.
5. Well, Brian's shaking his head. Hold on here.
No,
we got a new opinion.
Got a new one.
We literally just had this conversation with some buddies. It's a no-go. It's a no-go at the Reese residence. That's my vote. I know you guys have had the discussions. That's my vote.
Wow. So what's your pizza of choice?
I'm either a meat lovers or a buffalo chicken.
Okay.
You and I are perfection on pizza. Exactly right. Buffalo chicken. I know Slice Works around here has some great buffalo chicken pizza. But I will say that banana pepperoni, pineapple was pretty good.
The little bit of like spiciness with the sweetness.
Yes. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, the pineapple might not be the thing for me. I don't love the pineapple, but I think it might be just that ham and pineapple I really don't like. But pineapple might work with some other things.
Yeah.
But I'll take pepperoni.
Indeed.
All right. Next question is from Hoots. Who did a review for us. Thank you, Hoots. I just got around to listening to the Tears of the Kingdom episode that I thought was a spoiler cast, but definitely wasn't, with Hambone. None of you guys answered the armor question correctly. So, Rizzle29, what armor did you wear the most in Tears of the Kingdom?
I just ran around naked the whole time.
No, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
No, to be honest, I have only played the old school 2D Zelda games. My brother got me Tears of the Kingdom as a gift, so I felt like I had to play it. But I really loved it. But I wasn't like, I didn't have a background in it, so I kind of just used whatever armor I needed in that specific biome. I didn't. I didn't really know what else to use, but did love the game. I did love the game. I'm not a big adventure game guy, but it was something else.
You are the armor aficionado here, Drew.
I was an armor collector. I had 100 armor pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, I like the Dark Link is always fun. But like Brian said, I used to change it up like the snap of a finger. Like I used to change them constantly, depending on what I was doing. So I don't know if I'd have a favorite of the one I wore the most. I when you have that much armor, you're constantly changing nonstop. I like some of the old classic ones too. The Link's Awakening giant head mask was funny, but it just depends on the situation. I was changing all the time.
Yeah, I would switch between like mountain climbing armor or some of the non-slip armor, like as need. But I think overall I liked, and I think it was my highest one, is just the classic blue Breath of the Wild outfit. I just love that outfit. It is like beating out the green. Like I used to play Link, and you're like, oh, I got my green outfit, but I like the blue. I like that Champions
Nice.
stuff. But yeah, and then like in certain situations, I would throw on something else for what I needed, and that was it. So
Nice.
hopefully we answered it right this time. Hoops. Another question from Beer Cerveza. Who is the one video game character you could see yourself getting hammered with?
Yeah.
Is Selma Hayek in a video game? Does she count?
Who you got, Brian? Let's you go first.
Well, I gave this a little thought, not too much thought, but probably Waluigi. He seems just like a crazy bastard. You know,
Good times.
I think it could get it can get interesting having some beers, a lot of them with Waluigi. I think that's what I'd go with.
Nice. That's smart.
What is the spirit of this question? Like, is it someone you think you'd have like a fun time? Somebody who's funny, or like is it maybe like if I want to get hammered with like Bayonetta, you like hoping for like
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking if I get hammered with like Daisy, I can maybe get a blowjob in the bathroom.
Easy.
But I mean, I think the right answer would be like Bowser. Just like imagine him just stumbling out of the bar, like the shit you do in the side alley as you're just walking back to wherever the hell you're going. Just like dare to go run into the side of that car. Like he would just do it, you know.
Maybe
Take
get a
him a lot
Bowser
of beers
blowjob
to
when
get
it's all
drunk.
done.
He would take a lot of beers.
Yeah, I'd go with Bayonetta. I think she'd be fun.
What do you think she drinks? Do you think she's a beer guy or a girl, or you think she's more of a
liquid heat sort of alcohol from the depths of hell or something like
With
that,
little-
right?
with blood with like some vodka in it?
Yeah, something like supernatural, not like human liquor.
Hmm.
All right, we got a question from the informant. Hey guys,
Hey.
I feel like you answered this in the past already, but my daughter just rolled credits in Pokemon Sword. Humble
Yes.
brag. Is the DLC for that game worth the cost?
This is the best Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch, hands down. And Andy, the answer is yes. It is 100% worth it. You can go find all the little Diglets or Diglets. Diglets? Is it? It's not
Diglets.
Diglets though. Isn't it something else? But you know, it's the one with the hair. I think you have to find the one with the hair.
Oh,
What are they called?
isn't that it's the same creature, but it's like a
girl
I forget the name
version.
of it. Yeah, like
Anyways,
the Lohan.
Both of them, the Isle of Armor, and then I personally liked Isle of Armor better than the Tundra. Something Tundra. Great time. I had an absolute blast. 100% you should do it. She'll have a blast. Definitely worth the money. I don't even need to get into the details. Just do it.
I was close. Alolan Diglett.
Alone. Yes, that's the
Yeah.
one.
I haven't played the DLC, but like I said, I replayed Sword just so I can do the DLC, and then I beat Sword, and then I stopped. So I'm just never gonna really get to the DLC on that game. Just not
I
happening.
think the DLC really unlocks the Gigantamax concept where you can get the mushrooms and then go cook them, and then you can turn any Pokemon into the Gigantamax form. And if you do that, there's certain Pokemon that actually have a different form. The other ones just kind of like stay in their regular form, but definitely worth it.
Cool.
I can't
And
believe
you can interact with that DLC fairly early in the game.
correct.
You get to like a train station, and then it's like you talk to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you know."
Yeah, I
you
had
get
to
the
look it up.
DLC,
How do you get there?
Yeah, they'll actually give you one of the variations of Slowpoke. They'll give it to you right away.
Yeah, it's like a pink one and pink and yellow. It looks like a shiny, but it's not a shiny.
Mhm.
And you get Incineroar in Isle of Armor. Just saying.
Are you a Pokemon guy, Brian?
No, actually, my girls are just getting into it, so I was curious on, for 6-year-old, what would be a good starter Pokemon game on the Switch?
Go right. Pikachu.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Pikachu?
Let's go.
Let's go
Yep,
Pikachu and Eevee. Or whatever.
Yeah, one of those two. That's
Mhm.
that's the best one probably if you've never played. And then if they like that, Sword and Shield, I recommend after that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Arceus is one of my favorite Pokemon, But I feel like you need to play the traditional Pokemon, and that's not Let's Go. Let's Go is a little untraditional too, but Sword and Shield is the traditional one. Just to fully, like now Drew is playing Arceus, he can really appreciate how different it is. But if he played that first, he wouldn't get that appreciation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, last question, and this is a super multi-parter, and it's aimed at you, Brian, but just for fun, I think Drew and I should answer these questions too. And so I'm going to just read them one question at a time because Hambone gave us 20. Brian et al., what's your all-time favorite Nintendo console?
All right, no recency bias. It's the Switch for me. Kind of before I got the Switch, which was a gift from my brother, I was kind of into retro games through emulation, and then once I got the Switch, with the indies and the first party titles, I play basically handheld exclusively, and I've never gamed so much during the Switch era. It's just been an indie darling, and playing the first parties on the go. It's easily the Switch for me.
Nice.
Good answer there.
I want to say so badly the 3DS because I still love the form factor of it. I like the flip it shut aspect of pausing the game. I love that. I love the designs. There's so many great 3DS designs out there, but it just can't keep up. Even playing a game today, it just like the games look so old. It just hasn't kept up. It's hard not to say the Switch. I don't love the Joy-Con concept. I've never liked that wiggle. I've spent 6 years trying to wish the wiggle of Joy-Cons away in handheld mode and try different solutions. But it's just hard to deny that when you are playing, Breath of the Wild on your portable, we never had that before. We always got some lousy version of a series on our portables, and then you're playing Breath of the Wild on your portable. So it's hard not to say the Nintendo Switch is the best one.
I don't disagree, but I'm going to give a different answer. My favorite Nintendo console of all time is by far the Nintendo GameCube. I think it's just the nostalgia, and I love the controller, as well as the introduction of the Wavebird wireless controller. Right, so this is kind of the first time we ever got to use a wireless controller at home, and I think the way they designed their games, I think a lot of their games still hold up today from a graphic point of view.
I agree.
So for me, I think the GameCube will forever be my favorite.
GameCube games hold up better than the Wii games because you can play them traditionally. Yeah, I'd rather play a GameCube game than a Wii game today.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, GameCube holds up so well. I got more nostalgia for the 64, but it's tough going back to some of those games.
It's brutal.
I hate to say it, but that era, it's a tough era, but GameCube still holds up strong.
It does.
All right, next question. Favorite game? I'm going to interpret this as favorite game, not just Nintendo, but anything.
Sure.
I'll go first. Mine's easier. Mine's easy. Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all time. Yeah. I kind of package it with Breath of the Wild, like the two of them together.
That's fine.
But it's such an amazing experience. It is Tears of the Kingdom now.
Okay. Brian, what do you got?
It's not crazy, but it's Hades. Hades is my favorite game of all time.
Ed Boon will be happy to hear that.
Good pick.
I couldn't get enough when I was playing it, and I can't wait for the second one. But it was just knocked it out of the park. I love roguelikes, and it was just almost perfection. I don't see it's going to be tough to make a better game, but I don't see any downfalls in that game.
And like Rizzle, like you and I, we both love Dead Cells and Hades, and like, isn't it crazy that roguelikes, I don't know how long they've really been around. I feel like what was that roguelike that was very popular? Binding of Isaac.
I never played that.
Is when roguelikes really took a turn. And it's still a recent genre, but yeah, if I had to describe what my favorite game genre is, it would be roguelike. I love roguelikes.
Yeah, that's my favorite genre.
Fantastic. And I don't know if it's me, but does Hades 2 look like it could be so much better? I love the green. I love the art aesthetic for the green. I just feel like it's going to be even better than Hades. Can't wait.
Man,
I
hope
can't
so.
wait.
I'm not going to put a game, I'm going to put more of a franchise or series, and I'm going with Paper Mario. There's something about the magic of Paper Mario, and I think what it does it for me is just Mario in general and all the unique characters that series has introduced to us. I honestly, I'm looking at 100 plushies to my left here, and like it's literally one of the reasons I think why I wanted to start collecting plushies, because of all the unique characters that just are there and fun and to interact with. But the
You're not
exploration
going
and
to
the
pick a game though. I mean, would you pick Thousand Year Door?
I mean, Thousand Year Door is the obvious answer if you're gonna pick a Paper Mario game. Yeah, I'll tell you what though, their latest one for the Switch is with Origami Chain was pretty good. I want to play that one again because that was really good. But yeah, it probably has to be Thousand Year Door.
I'm interested to try Mario RPG and see if that's my favorite
I know.
RPG in the series.
And then the thing of being so intertwined with the Paper Mario series, I wonder how that will be for me, because that's a lot more RPG-ish than Paper Mario is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right, next question. What's your top 3 games so far in 2023? Oh my God, that's a hard question.
I'm going to save that one. I'm not going to answer that one, but I'll let Brian answer it.
All right. At the beginning of the year, first game, I guess, would be Fire Emblem Engage. I never played a Fire Emblem, and just the battle mechanics. I'm not really there for the story. I guess the story is okay, but the battle mechanics just, really brought me right in, and I fell in love with that game. So that was my number 1. Number 2 was the Dead Cells Castlevania DLC. I played the shit out of that.
So good.
And I know John did. We went back and forth. I thought I spoiled something for him, but he was just toying with me. But oh man, I couldn't play enough of that game. That was excellent. It's so crazy with Dead Cells how they just keep putting out DLC and DLC, and what a game that is. And then the last one, probably no one's ever heard of. It's a roguelike called Ember Knights. I would say it's a Hades-like, where there's like 6 different weapons, and you're one character, but you choose a different weapon, and you go through and choose different doors to go through and make your upgrades. But it is co-op. I played with some buddies. I think we played 4-player co-op, and it was a little hectic. Imagine playing Hades with 4 people, but I think 2-player co-op would be really fun, and I played it a lot. So if you're looking for a roguelike that you may not have heard of, Ember Knights.
This looks like my cup of tea, Brian. This looks great. This reminds me of that game Mana Spark a little bit, John, that you never played, that I made you buy. Did you ever play Mana Spark, Brian?
I did.
Yeah, I loved Mana Spark.
Ember Knights, really good.
All right, I'll put that one up. That one looks cool. I'm going to favorite that right now.
My game of the year is already decided. Obviously, it's Sports Story. First game that I played this year it's all been downhill since Sports Story. No, I mean, my game of the year is easily going to be Tears of the Kingdom. I've already said it's my favorite game of all time now, so of course it's going to be the game of the year. But Fire Emblem Engage, I had a tremendous fun. I can't remember the last time I played a game as long as Engage, finished it, and then a few days later started it again and finished it again. That just says really all you need to know about how good Engage was. I had a lot of fun with that. Return to Castlevania, I agree. I had an absolute blast with it. I don't think I could ever really consider that like a top 5 or top 10 game of the year. It's just a fairly smallish DLC, and I think it's tainted by the fact that Dead Cells is so good. And most of the DLC is just playing Dead Cells, so it's hard to really consider that, but that's fantastic. Possible contenders for the rest of the year right now, and you never know, these games come out of the blue and you just don't even know. But Persona 5 Tactica, I'm really excited about. Super Mario Wonder, obviously, Super Mario RPG are some games that I'm like really looking forward to. And then I think the most serious possible contender would be Spider-Man 2. I don't know if any of these will top Tears of the Kingdom, but those are the games I'm most hyped for. That could become games of the year. But what a year 2023. I can't wait till we recap this year.
I know. It's going to be
been
a
absurd.
3-hour episode.
Yeah, absurd.
It's been
I'm
unreal.
still looking at Ember Knights here. I'm locked in.
Hey, sold.
Have you played Enter the Dungeon?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just to make
Loved
sure.
it. Loved that one. Loved that one.
That still is in my brain. I always want to go back and play that one
Well,
too.
it was fun too because I have a game night every other Friday or something, and that was co-op. I think
Yes.
up to
Yep.
I don't know. It was maybe up to 2 players, but it's unique and nice when you could play those roguelikes with co-op.
Agreed. All right, what's next?
All right, it get a little easier now. Crunchy or puffy Cheetos?
Puffy.
Right.
Puffy.
I'm doing puffy as well. Corn
Puffy.
curls.
We talked about this during the marathon. I love puffy, but like when I think Cheetos, I think crunchy. So I'm going to go with crunchy. Tits or ass? He's just out there. He wants to know.
Well, like
I like-
Cosmo Kramer, I'm the ass man.
Yes. I'm going with tits.
I'm going with tits. Gotta love a good motorboat.
Nothing wrong with any of the body parts. You got to pick one. All right. If Bob Barkley busted into your room right now, like the Kool-Aid Man, and said, you get to design the Switch 2, what 3 features are must-haves for you?
Oh, wow.
Well, for me, it has to be backwards compatible. I don't know if you'd say it's a feature, but it has to be backwards compatible. Like I said, I'm 95% handheld with the Switch, so it has to have that OLED display. I can't go back, to an LED or something like that. It's just it looks too nice. And then 3, just more or less the user, the interface, eShop, friend, connecting with friends.
eShop blows.
It's got to be. I don't mind because I watch a lot of, listen to you guys or other channels to get ideas of games, and then I'll maybe look into them. But if you're just searching the eShop, good luck.
It's brutal. Good. Those are some solid ones. John, you have any?
Definitely the backwards compatibility. I mean, I feel like if it's not there, there's going to be a riot.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, I'd like to see a Switch that the Joy-Cons, it's all one unit. I just feel like when it's one unit, when you're controlling, and maybe it's just me and the way I control, when it's one cohesive piece of plastic, it feels just more stable. It's why I love the Nintendo Switch Lite. But, the screen is smaller and it's not OLED, so I don't really use my blurple as much as I'd like to. But I would love to see the Nintendo Switch, still be dockable and you can have external Joy-Cons, but you just can't take off the Joy-Cons. And then, my God, if it can play Final Fantasy VII Remake in 60 frames, I don't believe it. But if it can do that, that's all I want in my life. And I don't like people were talking about, it's on par with the PS5. It's like, that's horse. There's no way that it's going to be. But if it's on par with a PS4, yes, please. That's what I want. I want a PS4 portable. That's what I want.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys. I'm going to steal one from Tim that he said last week in the episode where I love the idea of kind of, we have AirPlay nowadays, so you just throw stuff to the TV. I love the concept of being able to AirPlay from your portable to the TV and not having to use a dock, right? I think that would be huge for traveling purposes, right? How many times do you travel to a hotel room or your friend's house, but maybe there's no dock, right? It sucks to try to like patch a dock. But I always bring my Switch when I go traveling. But if you could AirPlay it to like the hotel TV, that'd be awesome. Made things a lot easier that way. I do agree with you, John, about the Joy-Cons. I think, when will Nintendo just get away from these motion controls? I feel like we've had them now for over 10 years, and I'm tired of them. And I just want to sit on my couch and be fat and play video games. I don't want.
How are you going to play Trombone Champ?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't need to. That's my point. And then my last one, I don't know. Give me like have Disney put in like one of those smeller, the smells. So like when Wario farts, it like puffs a smell out at me.
Oh God, really? I tell you, sales of WarioWare are going to go way down if that's going to happen.
Or way up, maybe.
Nobody. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of features we all love to see, but I think in the end, we just want a Switch that's better. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
But I just want a Switch that has Lord of the Rings games, John.
Gollum. It's a monkey paw again.
They just announced another one.
What's that?
They're left and right now. They just announced another Lord of the Rings game.
That Hobbit of them game. Good? Which ones are good? I mean, you can make lots of Lord of the Ring games, but like, are they good?
The actual Hobbit game, which was more of a sneak-in type thief game, was really good. I liked that one. GameCube.
Yeah, they had a lot of them. That was when the movies were out, like the GameCube era, right?
Correct. Yeah, 2007-8 time frame. Well, yeah. GameCube might have been before that even.
You can always remember when the consoles were around or when the movies were. Sure. I remember the console years better than the movies, honestly. Just by like, oh yeah, I remember like, you remember when the PlayStation Portal was out and they had the UMDs and they had movies? There's only like a small range of years of movies that they actually put those out.
Every big movie that came out had a video game. They don't do that anymore.
Because they tend to stink. They really did.
People loved it. People ate that shit up.
Shovelware, mostly.
Well, now there's too many indies making shovelware is the problem. There never was indie games back then, really.
We should do a list of the best like movie-based video games.
Oh my God, that's got to be an episode. We could probably get 10.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shitty ones. We could even do like the best and the worst that we've played.
Yes, I like that idea.
But like, it was always pretty bad. And now they seem to do better. But like when you have a game like Hogwarts Legacy, which comes out way after the movies and that sort of thing, but they, obviously they took their time and they're based on the IP. Like Gollum could have been. It's not based on a specific thing. It's based on an IP. Now that game didn't work out.
We want the ones that were straight off the movies.
Right. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Back to the Future.
I like that idea.
And all that.
We'll do that.
Oh, the NES had, oh man.
They had tons.
What was it, JLN?
LJN.
LJN. Oh, yeah. Boy. Oh, boy.
AVGN made his whole career on LJN games. But that's what they did. They'd slap them together real fast. Because you can make an NES game much quicker than you can now. Games take way too long to make now.
Agreed. So, well, John, that wraps us up. So what do we have coming up the next couple of weeks?
We have another busy couple weeks in front of us. Miniko's Night Market's going to come out. It's going to happen.
Well, maybe.
September 26th. It's 2 days away. It's finally going to happen. I think Michelle's going to buy it too.
Good for her.
You're going to have to help me with this. It says Disney Speedstorm releases on September 28th. Yeah. Is it like an official version or is it just...
It is. I don't know, but I do know it's coming out on both Android and mobile.
And okay.
iPhone. Maybe that's it.
That might be what it is.
Unless it's maybe it's coming out free to play. I did notice a couple weeks ago they updated the shop where now you can physically actually put real money into the game, where before you could never do that.
Oh, interesting.
So now you can actually buy coins and gems and all the other good shit.
I looked it up. It says Disney Speedstorm will leave paid early access and launch as a free-to-play title on September 28th.
And then it will go to shit.
We have to do a whole episode on early access. It still makes me so freaking mad. It's been
out for a long time.
I know. Like, what do you think? People who were waiting for the free version just waited around all these months?
It's been out for 3 seasons. I know Aladdin kicks off season 4. So I don't know how long the seasons are. Even if they're 30 or 60 days, that's been out for a while. It came out in April, I want to say.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We have indie game Cocoon coming out September 29th. We have Disgaea 7, Vows of the Virtueless, October 3rd. Silent Hope, what is that? October 3rd.
Silent Hope was in a Nintendo Direct.
No way.
Yes, it was. This is it kind of looks like Final Fantasy-ish.
It looks like Sea of Stars.
It does look like it's more like the GameCube type. This was in a Nintendo Direct. This was a big deal.
I don't remember this one.
7 heroes, 7 fighting styles. Dive into the abyss and explore their silent world.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Wow, that game's coming out already? Huh.
Yeah,
I thought it was much further out.
Action role playing.
Interesting. Front Mission 2, the second game in that series. I think that is also that's coming out October 5th. War Groove 2.
We didn't do a giveaway.
October 5th.
We need to do a War Groove giveaway, John. Remember, I have where the hell did I put those? I was going to give maybe a little sneak peek to Brian. I don't know where I don't even have any of them.
Caesar, where are you, Caesar?
I don't know.
Drew has hit that age where you put things away and you don't remember where they are. He's looking through his shirts.
I have no idea where they are. No idea.
He's going to ask Amy tomorrow, and she's going to tell him, "You put it in the closet."
I don't know.
I was very hyped up for Wargroove 2. We got a preview of it. They were talking about it was like a roguelite. You hear me, Brian? A roguelite.
That's just a style. That's one of the play modes.
No,
are you playing this? Are you a Wargroove guy?
You know what? I played because of you guys, the first one. After you guys played, I did enjoy it. That was when I started to dip into more tactics. I played the Enter the Breach. I really like that. I think I'm going to be playing Wargroove 2. And what about? Isn't Metal Slugs coming out with a tactics game? I haven't heard anything about that since it originally got revealed. I don't know what's going on.
It was supposed to come out 2023. It got pushed.
Pushed. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know any date, but it's 2024. I think it's 2024. We don't have a date. It's been pushed.
Okay.
I thought Wargroove 2 was going to be all about this like pirate lady, and it was going to be a roguelite and whatever. And now I'm seeing these screens that show all the characters from the first one.
But how do you know it's not? Maybe you don't know anything.
I don't know, but like I don't want the roguelite version to be just a tacked on feature. I thought that was going to be the focus of the game. So it's going to be, I don't want it to be one of these like, okay, we're going to redo Wargroove, but we're going to change some dialogue and we're going to have our characters running around the continent again. And then there's a roguelite version and all that. I wanted it to be a little bit more focused, a little more efficient, and I'm going to wait on reviews.
I think it's going to be campaign mode, and there's going to be new characters introduced to that have new sub characters and new enemies. And then I think when you go back to the main menus, it's like campaign underneath that's going to say like, there's like arcade mode, whatever that's going to be. Is going to say,
I fucking hated
roguelike mode.
And that's
hated
the
be
arcade
a separate game where maybe you select the character and you play through a game. If you die, you're done. That's what I think it's going to be.
I see, and I don't think I want that. I'd actually been happier if they just did another story and then had a DLC a year from now. It's too much at once, It's like drinking from the water.
What do you want, John? Okay, they're giving you the damn game. Just play it, enjoy it.
I just don't want 100 hours of content, and the arcade
not going to be 100 hours.
It could be. It's talking about two different kinds of games. I don't know. I'm wait and see for October 5th. We'll see. I'm gonna read reviews and just see what it is. I just thought it would be tighter focus. I really hope they don't have that arcade version.
I don't know if they are. They're just using
the arcade mode is so lame on Wargroove. It's so lame. And then October 6th. I can't believe it's coming out already too. Detective Pikachu returns.
Yeah.
On October 6th for everyone to enjoy. That's it.
That's all we got. That's a show. Brian, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me. It was my pleasure. And, the Extra Life event you guys put on this year was great. So congratulations to you guys for a successful year one.
Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Appreciate the donations. Appreciate why you're here then.
And Brian, we were going to have some tax documents for you to sign on your way out to let us know that you have received your present. And you will have to pay some taxes based on number of downloads for this episode. But congratulations.
All right. Thanks, boys.
All right, Drew.
All righty.
Good night. Later, dads.
The Dads After Dark show is part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available, including Google, Overcasts, and whatever. If you're using Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. You want to. Be sure to join us on the Nintendo Dads Discord in our Dads After Dark channels for some naughty After Dark talk. Leave us a voicemail with Spotify for podcasters and we'll play it on our next show. Check our podcast description for the link. Follow us on Threads or TikTok at NDadsAfterDark. Say hello, won't you? A big thank you to Family Jewels for our show's music. That's all for tonight. Good night, you sexy dads. Sweet dreams.